Dave from Oklahoma City, he said, you always call the Big 12 America's college football conference. That's true, Dave. He said, do you have a specific team that you would look at as America's college football team? Just use whatever criteria you want to. Yes, they're in the Big 12. It's Arizona State. I call the Big 12 America's college football conference because I think the characteristics of that conference most reflect the characteristics that college football fans love about the sport. It's very competitively balanced. There's not huge portal churn and coaching staff churn there. Every Saturday is like uniquely balanced to just be a season of its own. It's wonderful. Love the Big 12. High level, like entertaining, competitive product every week. Well, within that league, I think Arizona State would be my answer here. Number one, it's not an SEC or Big Ten team. You cannot be America's football team and be in one of those conferences because you gotta have a likable quality about you. And those conferences aren't likable right now. The Q ratings of those conferences are way down. So not only is it not a Power 2 team, it's not Clemson or Notre Dame or like Miami or one of the ACC or independents, but a powerhouse program. But the program was left for dead. I want to remind people, it's not all that long ago that Herm Edwards was the head coach there, and the program was going nowhere fast. And then you've got the sanctions and you've got the firings, and the program just spiraled into the desert. And if you looked at it at the time, you would have thought it's going to be a decade before we ever hear anything about Arizona State football again. And then they went and hired Kenny Dillingham. And that is a marriage that I always love to see when it's possible. Either hire a guy who played or coached at the school, if it makes sense, or hire a guy with ties to that region and to that program. Well, Kenny grew up in the shadow of the stadium. I mean, the guy would have crawled over broken glass. He'd probably take a 50% pay cut to stay there just because. So Kenny Dillingham is Arizona State, and think about the rest of the world around him. The rest of the world around him is full of guys that, whether they're at the G5 level or they're at the lower levels of the Power 4, what are you working your way towards? Winning where you are so you can get a bigger job. But that's not him. I promise, it's not him. And so, I celebrate that, whether anybody else wants to. I celebrate that. I would call it the Dilly effect, the Kenny Dillingham effect. If you could just spend a day around that place. Let me cut in really quick and ask, look, prayer hands, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure. Over 50% of you aren't. It's free, it doesn't sign you up for anything, and it helps us keep the show free, college football year-round, the way God intended it. All right, back to the clip. And then I could take you around to all the other programs. You would say, I can't believe how different it feels at Arizona State. I can't believe how loose, but also how structured it feels. I don't know how to explain it. There's design behind that, but it's really loose. It's like a frat house half the time, but then it gets militaristic. As soon as someone blows a whistle or snaps their finger, it's like right in line, and it's disciplined and it's regimented, and you go in there and watch them lift, and they're lifting hard, but then also you go in a team meeting and they're shooting basketball over in the corner. It's the kind of place where if you saw it, you would say, I don't think there's any other place operating like this in the country. And you know why? Because it's the personality of the head coach, and it works. And I think every one of you would love it unless you happen to be a rival of that school. So I would put Arizona State up as America's college football conference. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever for them to live up to that billing this season.